You don't hear me? My bad, my computer like turned off. Let me put the thinkorswim back up. Okay, so yeah, it's important to have your levels set up when you're trading because you need to know when to enter and when not to enter a trade. How many of you here know what resistance and support is? Did I just unmute myself? What the fuck is wrong with me today? Let me show you guys how to make a support and resistance level. No, I'm not faded. I'm just, I have a bunch of things I deal with today. I am here. I am here. Okay, now what I'm about to show you is key. How many of you see my screen right now? What stock am I looking at? You guys see the screen yet? Why is it so slow, bro? There you go. Should be able to see now. What stock are we looking at here? We're looking at the almighty Amazon. Why do I say almighty? Because this thing moves like a beast. Okay, how many of you are new to trading? Like you don't even know what the fuck you're looking at. Like what is that? Or are you all fairly? Okay. This is for Moises. He's a noob. It's okay to be a noob. This is Amazon. It's a stock, right? Now, we're looking at a chart of Amazon. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the price movement of Amazon on a weekly time frame. Now, this right here where my cursor is, it says WK. That's weekly, okay? That means that we are looking at it from a weekly time frame. What is a good time frame to, for those of you who have already been trading, so you can kind of tell the newer people, what is a good time frame to use when you're day trading, for example? Okay, so time frame levels are the key to being able to enter and exit trades efficiently. Now, what the first thing you want to do when you start making time support and resistance levels actually is you want to start off on the weekly chart. Why do you want to start off on the weekly chart? Because we want to see where the hardest support and the hardest resistance is on the chart. Why are these the stronger levels? Now, for those of you who are new, each of these candles represent 1 week because we're looking at a weekly chart. So if I go on this one, the 1 year, 1 day, that means every single chart, every single candle that I see here is 1 day. If I'm going to the 10-day, 30-minute, that means every single candle here represents 30 minutes. If I'm looking at a 5-day, 15 minutes, that means every single candle that I see here represents 15 minutes, right? But we want to start off on the weekly to begin with if we don't have anything drawn up, right? Now you want to go down here where it says drawing set and you want to click the button next to that, right? You guys see all of these rectangulars, triangles, fucking circles and everything. So these are your drawing tools, right? So these are tools that you can use. For example, if you want this oval, let's say you want to draw something out and then you want to highlight something, then that is what the oval does. Okay, that's for the oval. This is what's called a trend line. Now, how many of you already make support and resistance levels on your chart and you use this trend line tool to do that? How many of you know about this tool right here called the price level, where if you just click this, it'll just make a whole straight line across the board? That's what you want to use. Okay. Now, what constitutes a good support or a good resistance level? Now, we want to find a level, we want to find levels in the chart where you can find multiple touches, meaning this. What the hell? So let's say this is the price movement of the stock, right? Pretend they're candles. Okay. Now, if you're looking at a 1 week chart, you're looking just for one touch. One touch is still good enough to make a line. If you're looking at a 1 day, you're gonna be looking for 2 touches. If you're looking at a 4 hour, you're gonna be looking for 3+ touches. And I'm gonna explain what touches means. 1 hour, you want to look for 3+. 5-minute, 3+. Same thing. So anything above the 1 day, anything below the 1 day, you need 3 3 or more touches on the levels to make it a good resistance or a good support. Now, let's say this is a 5-minute time frame, right? Let's say we're looking at a 5-minute time frame. That means we're gonna make a support level. We're gonna draw a level that's gonna go through these 3 lines, right? Now, when we're looking at this, and just imagine they're candles, right? So what you want to do is you want to find 3 candlesticks, but you want to make sure it's the wicks that touch the candlesticks. Does that make sense? You want to make sure the line goes between the wicks like this, the bottom of the wick or the top of the wick, right? Now, if there is a 4th one, right? Let's say there's a 4th support line. It's fine if it's like that. If it has no wick, it's fine. As long as you've already brushed through 3 different wicks, you're okay. That's already an established support line. Does that make sense? Or do I need to reiterate that? Okay, now we're gonna try to do that on the chart now. So we have one here, right? We have another one here. And we also have another one here. Right, so now we have to make a line across these 3 wicks like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, when you're using this price level that we are using, this purple one, you want to double click it or right click it, click edit properties. Do you see this thing that I see right here? Do you see the properties within when I click it? You can change the color, you can change the style, but you always want to make sure the left extension is on and the right extension is on. Okay. Now, before I continue, let me brush you guys up on candlesticks, right? How they work. Let's say you have a candlestick like this, right? Let's say this is a 5-minute candlestick. What does that mean? What does this mean if it's a 5-minute candlestick? What does 5-minute candlestick mean? This means that this candle formed within 5 minutes, right? This took 5 minutes to form. Now, if you're looking at a green candlestick, where does the candlestick open versus where's the close, right? Is this the open? Is this the close? Or is this the open and this is the close? So it opens on the bottom and it closes on top. Now, let's say you have a candlestick that looks like this and it's green. We open here, right? We open here. Did it go up first or did it go down first? Okay, so let's look at this candlestick, right? Now, if we're looking at this candlestick, let's do it step by step, how it formed. So first we have the open. Shit, slanted. Now we have the open, right? 2. We have this. It turned into this. Does that make sense right there? That's why these are called wicks, okay? Because they were a different color before. Now, that is what happened. So first we opened, then the price went down. Now within that 5 minutes, it went back up, creating the wick, and it turns green as soon as it passes that open. Does that make sense? As soon as it passes that open, it turns green, and then now, right, it goes back up, and then it closes. Now, why does this form though? Why does it why does a candle like that form? Why do we have such a long wick on the bottom? So if you're thinking about, if you're looking at this from a supply and from a demand perspective, right? You're gonna evaluate this as, so first, right? We open green. Why did we open green first of all? The reason why we opened green was because we opened higher than the previous what? We opened higher than the previous candle, right? Let's say this is candle number 1, and then we're looking at candle number 2. The reason why it opens green is because we opened higher than the previous candle. Now, look at it from a supply and demand standpoint. You see that the bulls, right? The bulls took control here. The bulls took control, and then the sellers came in to drive the price down. Right? Sellers came in to drive the price down. And what happened when it drove the price down? What happened when it, what happened when the sellers drove the price down? As soon as the sellers drove the price down, the buyers came back in to buy up the stock, thus creating that long wick. Make sense? Buyers came in to drive the price up, creating a long lower wick. When you see a candle like this, right? Now, let's look at a candle. Let's look at this candle versus this candle. Let's fill it up. Fill it up. Look at these two candles, right? Look at these two candles. Now, what is the difference between these two candles? Which one is more bullish than the other? Which one shows you more buying pressure than the other one? Exactly. The one with the longer wick is the one that's going to be the more bullish one, because the buyers overruled the sellers, right? The price was the price was coming down, and then the price came back up because there were more buyers coming in, right? So just think of it like this. Whenever you see a bullish candle, right? Think you have let's say you have a door, right? You have a door, and then you have one guy here, and this is the same thing for a resistance when it breaks, right? So you have one guy here, and then you have one fat dude on the other side of the door. You can't open the door, right? You need more reinforcement. So then you have one fat dude coming in from your direction to help you. And then you have an even fatter one coming in. This guy's like a fucking, he's ginormous. Right? Boom. Now we're gonna break through this door, and we're gonna literally freaking walk over him. We're gonna run over him. We're gonna run him over. Right? So when you're looking at a candle that is bullish like that, you wanna immediately think and assume that the stock price is gonna go up. Now, there are going to be different scenarios that's going to show up within the chart that's going to, that you're, when you're going to, which causes you to have to make a decision whether you want to enter the trade or not. We're not going to get to that yet because we haven't started this resistance support. So you have one touch, two touch, yet you now have three touches here, right? 1, 2, and 3, right? This is on a weekly. Remember, if you're looking at a weekly, all you need is just one single wick to make a resistance line, right? Now we're gonna make one on top here. I'm gonna make one here. Here, just remember, I'm doing it fast because I'm used to this, but all I'm doing is I'm looking at where the wicks find each other, and I'm making a line through them. And remember, this is on a weekly, so each line that I make here is a very, very strong support and or resistance. Now, how many of you are looking at my chart? You're like, wow, that's a freaking, that's a crowded chart. How am I gonna even read the chart like this? How many of you are thinking that? How many of you are thinking that there's a lot going on? Well, I'm on a weekly chart. What happens when I go on a 5-minute chart? What do I now have? Now I have levels, right? So this is these purple lines represent what? They represent weekly levels. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna edit the property, and then I'm gonna make yellow lines, and I'm gonna save it as default. No, I'm sorry, let me make this purple first. What I have to do is I'm gonna make a line here. I'm gonna go on to the daily. I'm gonna make more support and resistance lines, and it's gonna be orange because that's my daily level. Boom, now I have my daily levels. Now let me go on to the hourly and find more. So once I go to the hourly, let's say this is one right here. And this is one right here. Now I'm gonna edit the property and I'm gonna change the color of this. I'll make it blue, let's say. What am I doing right now with these different colors? Let's jump on the 5-minute. Now what am I doing? Why did I choose different colors for different levels plotted on the chart? So I know that the purple is a strong resistance line, and the blue is a strong resistance line, and the orange is not so strong, but I can use it as a day trade level. Now, the purple lines I usually use as profit target for when I want to make a swing trade, for example, right? I'm like, okay, well, let me swing this. Let me find out where I want to take profits at. Now I'm going to use one of these two purple or blue lines to figure out when to sell, when to sell my swing trade. Does that make sense? Because when you're swinging options, you have to go out, right? You have to go out further in time. You have to buy a week out or 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, whatever the case is, right? So the reason why you color coordinate is so you can get organized in which level is stronger than the other, because sometimes you get it confused. Does that make sense? Let's say this. Let's say we get, for example, let's say you're looking for a bounce, right? Why was this bounce so strong? Why was this blue bounce so strong here? You can do 6 months, 1 week, 1 month, 1 day, whichever you're comfortable with. But why was this 33.85 support level so strong? Because this is my level from a daily. This was my daily level, right? I used the daily chart to figure out where the support and where the resistance lies. And so once we bounce here, once we see the green candle, we should already assume, make sense? We should already assume that what? We should already assume that the bounce will be strong, okay? We need to assume that the bounce is gonna be stronger, that it's gonna break this level. Now, for example, if you had made a pre-market level for this, right? All these pre-market levels, which is gonna be orange. Don't you think you would have assumed that this was gonna break because we're bouncing off of a support that happened on the daily level, and now we're breaking a weekly level? Do you think it's gonna be hard for it to break a little pre-market resistance? Does that make sense to you guys? Did that did this did today did it, has it helped you guys yet so far this class? Has it given you a better understanding of what we're doing? So I have homework for you guys to do, and I'm gonna post it right after this. So, but what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to freaking upload the first part of this and then upload this part of this. But I'm going to post this tonight. Hopefully, be up by tonight. If not, tomorrow morning when the market opens. If you have any questions, just DM me. But I am going to give you some homework right now for you to do. You know, it's barely 7:30 here, so I'm pretty sure some of you still have like time to kind of read up on stuff. Always, always, always make sure that you spend extra time during the day to just do research, right? Don't depend on this class to help you make fucking however much money you want to make, because you can only do that yourself. But you have to look, you have to research things yourself for you to be able to elevate yourself to a different level, right? Hope you guys enjoyed today's class. I'm going to upload this and I'm going to give you some homework.